We ask that you guys mute, please, too, okay? Okay. I'm working some screens here by myself, so give me some chance, give me an opportunity here. I need to pull up this. And I would also like to introduce you to the guest speaker tonight, which is Hollywood. If that's Hollywood right there in the picture, she's waving at you now. Okay. We didn't really get together with much of anything other than a short outline, which you can see on your screen right now. And I'm just going to kind of turn it over to her and let her run with it. We'll ask that everybody again mute your mics. Please wait till the end of the conversation that we have. The recording will be uploaded immediately after the call, so there's no questions need to be asked unless we have a discussion. Somebody needs to mute. Somebody needs to mute. That's what I don't want. I've got an echo, so I know somebody's either on speaker or not muted. I don't want to belabor this too much here. I want to get started because I don't like long calls. I like to keep things short and sweet, but I'm going to let her go with her little thing, her presentation tonight. We just basically got together with a few ideas. She's been kicking around stuff with you guys for the last couple of days, last week, I guess, in the chat rooms. Everybody seen her chats, and everybody's been chatting with her right back. I'm just going to let her talk and give us a little intro, sister. Okay, give us a little intro, and then do your thing, and I'll be quiet here.
Testing, testing. You can hear me? Okay, so
yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Very good, thank you. So basically, I thought that it would be important to share my story with you guys because I know what it's like not knowing where to start, what the consequences are, having success, and being able to build support by showing your success to others. I've been there, done it. So I studied for years before I did anything, right? I was like scared. So the first thing I did was my credit report. I cleaned up everything off my credit report. I did that by doing the debt validation letter, defaulting. So once I sent the debt validation letter, I did get responses back as far as the accounting, the full accounting. Whether it was the original debtor or it was bought and sold and traded, I got some sort of something back. After I got that back, I believe I endorsed it, and I defaulted them on whatever I could, basically. Once I got the whole, the original contract, which was a debt validation, their response, which I accepted it. Once I accepted, I'm not bringing any controversy, right? I'm not. If you're not bringing any controversy, you can't be in default. So I was never in default. So I accepted it, and then I got together a notice of default and dishonor and an acceptance of default and dishonor, where I show in writing the fact that I accepted the entire process. And then I sent it to, I wasn't really sure where to send it, right? This is like my first thing I ever did. So I sent it to the Consumer Protection Agency and I sent it to the FTC. I noticed that everything that I sent to the Consumer Protection Agency, they forwarded to the FTC. So if you want to do that, or cut it out, I don't think it really matters. And there's mistakes that I made along the way. I didn't do any of the taxes. I didn't know about them. And so, but what I did do is I cleaned up my credit. It did clean everything off my credit. It cleaned it up so high, I was able to go and finance a new car. And I tried some stuff on that, and I didn't know the taxes, so it didn't work. And so, I guess being able to show you guys the money orders that I was sent and how I turned their vouchers into a money order. And I sent copies of everything to the FTC and the Consumer Protection Agency. Now, if I were to go back and do it now, I would definitely include the taxes and send a packet to the IRS. And that basically like sums it up.
You mean you would have done a W-4 process is what you're saying?
Absolutely, I would have, because now I know that just with the simple generic stuff that I did, how much success that we had, there's no way I wouldn't report it to the IRS, because I mean, the amount of success could have been even greater. So.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start showing your first document there, which will be the debt validation letter that you were talking about.
Yep, it was super generic, one page. I think I got it from Joanna Johnson, if you guys are familiar with her. I think I got it from her, and then I actually, once I saw it work on me, I did my whole family's. I think my sister-in-law even got a check back from the FTC. You guys, like, the FTC sent her a check. I was like, I didn't get no check.
Yeah, that was my
She did.
wife. Yeah, she
Yep.
got like a $300 check.
Yep. No explanation, no reason. Don't know why, but she did.
And the next document, go ahead.
Okay, so that's where I was making my acceptance for value. That's on a bunch of debt that was sent over to the Minnesota Department of Revenue. So these state Department of Revenues, they're acting as a collection agency. And back then, this was only my theory. I was only theorizing that the Department of Revenue was just acting as a collection agency. So I said, okay, send me all the debt that's been turned in by all the other corporations to you, and let me look at it. And it ended up being some college debt and some court fines. And the total was, I don't know, in between $1,000 and $2,000. And so they sent the voucher, turned it into a money order, accepted, endorsed it, and returned it. I also came up with my own little chief executor box where I put my own serial numbers in it. I make my own numbers, and I'll stamp like confidential in it, or the date, or just whatever, just to make it look fancy. And sure enough, they zeroed out the debt at the Minnesota Department of Revenue. So if I wanted to have more success, like that debt not been sent back to the courthouse, or that debt not been sent back to the Department of Education, if it was, let's just say it was, I would have definitely filed the taxes. So, but my credit score now is up over 700, and literally this is all I've done is what you guys are looking at. I have started doing all the W-4s. I sent in a huge box at Thanksgiving. And again, that's going to take a year probably to process. So.
And this is evidence of the closure on that. I believe you here. If everybody can read this.
Yep, that's the zero debt. What they call it? They called it a
zero balance
letter. Yep. So that was just requested over the phone. It literally took 5 minutes, and they shot it right over in email. And the debt was gone. Where it went from there, I don't know, but it wasn't on the Minnesota Department of Revenue. And those are the people that take all your taxes when you get a refund, you know. So that's pretty big success. I mean, how many people is getting all their refund took by the Department of Revenue?
I like it.
Yeah, it was really simple. And I had literally no knowledge of anything other than just studying, you know, who the source of the funds were. The most important thing is you have to know. It has to be a core belief in your soul that you're the source of the funds. If you don't believe and you can't understand, or you don't see how that you're the source of the funds, and how your sweat and your equity and your labor and your energy goes to building this country and keeping it running, then, you know, maybe you should go onto the law side like my brother. He's huge on the law side. I just chose the banking side. I just picked up on it because of my commerce. So
it's actually a law word, EMERGY. I'm her brother, by the way. Echo Mike, Echo Romeo, Golf Yankee. Emergy is actually a law word for the formula they use to see how many hours of your sweat combined with everybody else's man hours of sweat it takes to produce one windshield, or one Ford F-150, or one can of beans. Anyway, continue.
that reminds me too that I did my 1040 last year based off the IRS's suggested website, and I plugged in all the information just like you normally would, not doing it on paper, not factoring in any W-4s. All I did was factored in my labor, and the IRS edited my 1040 and put a negative $711,400, which must be my labor that they're withholding. So I did a W-4 on the IRS, and then my coach told me to correct that. So then I figured out, well, then actually I didn't figure out. He explained to me that my labor is recorded on a log. That log has an OMB control number. Research what corporation is in control of that OMB control number, which ended up being United States Coast Guard, and do a W-4 on the Coast Guard. And my dad was nice enough to do that, make that correction for me because I was at work. And so then the IRS sent a letter requesting 60 more days to review the accounts. So we're coming up on those 60 days on that 7-Eleven. That's pretty exciting. Again, it's my labor, because when I go to work and I'm trading my labor for my paycheck, that's a swap, that's a trade, right? So any income would be is if I just went to Pepsi and they gave me 20 cases of Pepsi, that would be the income that I made off it, because it's more than agreed, right? So yep, I just W-4'd the United States Coast Guard for my labor that the IRS adjusted and said the IRS alleges that labor is being withheld from me. And I could probably provide you that 1040. I don't have it right offhand, and go over it. But I mean that the fact that it's my labor withheld came from my coach, and I fully believe that he knows what he's talking about. So.
Okay, I've displayed another item up, which is your financial account services document, and I noticed you use a PO box in that. This is just your document for your claim. I guess your claim there for your financial services. You're using a care of notary public private banker address. Can you kind of
Yep.
explain that a little bit?
So I became a notary so that I could use that capacity in commerce to operate in the public. So I have different hats that I wear. Sometimes I'm acting as, just a private person taking a walk, and sometimes I'm acting as an independent contractor for the United States Postal Service and United States Department of Transportation. And sometimes I can operate in the capacity of acting as a notary. So if I was going to do all this stuff, I researched how powerful the notary presentment was, and I just decided that it was in my best interest to be a notary.
Not
So
only
then I
that,
just,
but on the law end, the notary can also log all the mail coming in and out of a mailbox. And that's why you do it care of the notary, because it's all certified that only one person opens and closes the mail. And that way it's all logged. So that makes it a logbook for a court.
right.
Oh,
And
Roger.
notaries can do they can perfect the default. A notary presentment is extremely powerful tool in commerce.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly 3 notaries can trump a judge. I don't know if that's ever actually happened in our history or what, but that's what they say.
Now in this document here, each one of these places where I've taken out the highlights, there's one area there you use estate. You're using all caps as the estate, but then you use upper and lower case. You were using a hyphenated name, colons with colons and stuff in it, kind of like when Miller does.
Yeah, so I would be the TTEE as per the IRS on that estate, or the EX as per the IRS on that estate. If you guys don't have your estate EIN, it's super simple. You get it in like 30 seconds at irs.gov or SS4 online. Mm-hmm. And the IRS will put in writing your status to that estate. So then every time I get pulled over, I just throw that status around to the courthouse.
A lot of people don't realize the first, middle, last, first, middle, the punctuation. It's all different signatures for different capacities. the law of hats says you can only wear one hat at a time. So even if you're the trustee and a beneficiary of a trust, you can't be both at the same time.
Okay. And you have about 6 different comments here that you require them, the creditor, the debt collector in this particular case, to provide information to or for. Did you want to go into any of that information?
They can't provide it. So all they ever provided was just some crap on the accounting. They never provide any of that. Never, not one time did they provide any. But I don't care what they do or don't provide. I don't. It doesn't change the fact that it's my credit. Like, it doesn't change the fact that my signature paid for it. You guys realize that your signature pays for it as soon as you sign. Like this bill of lading that I just got, you know, I have to sign every single bill, and that's because we're the source of the funds. We give value to all of these contracts. I mean, if it works at commerce at the highest level, it works all the way down to the smallest $500 loan.
And Hollywood, you asked me to incorporate some of the comments that Smoking Baby had in the packet here, the W4 stuff about the sending this W4 sandwich. And so I've got those slides pulled up now. I made about 6 or 7 slides on one document, one page here to show. I can't get them all in there for everybody to see. I can only get about 4 and a half of them, whatever. But anyway, at least what shows on my screen. But I can load this document up on the channel too when I finish this. In fact, all this will be loaded up on the channel when we finish here. So, but did you want to make any comments about anything particularly with the W4 sandwich and the agent duties of, you know, placing orders, keeping records, and reporting to the principal?
It's super, super simple. Literally, if you can fill out a check on a checkbook, you can do these W4s and these 1040s and these 1040Vs, especially if the alleged creditor sends back the detail accounting. They make it really easy, right? So you just add up both sides of the ledger. It's your payments that you've paid in plus the alleged borrowed debt, the negatives. So you're adding the negatives to the positives because, again, it's both sides is your credit. So add up the whole thing. It doesn't matter if you want to do it monthly. It doesn't matter if you want to do it quarterly, yearly, weekly. And then I would staple or however you want to combine all the corporations in one packet. You know, you got your validation letter, your notice of default and dishonor, your acceptance of default and dishonor. Because you have them in a perfected default, now you can write the summary default judgment or the foreign judgment. Because you have them in default, you get to make the orders, right? So now you get to make the orders. So make your order the treasury to go in and audit the books, recoup all of your subrogation, all of your credits with interest, and either credit it to the account or send you a check or a card. I think so far I've played with it in different ways. I sent copies of a card that I've been provided from the public trust from Tennessee. It's from Co-America. The state of Tennessee provided it to me. And so I made copies front and back of that, and I submitted that to the Treasury saying, hey, you can load the funds on this public trust account, because basically that's what it is. It's access to the public trust. I also told them on a different packet that they could just send me the cards. And I think I can't recall there any other way that I did. I don't think I asked for a paper check. And I have not
We
told
used
them.
the other green card. The third time we used that other green card that I have for the 9/8.
Yeah, and my brother has 2 Treasury Direct cards, and he may have ordered them to deposit on the Treasury Direct. We tried that method. And I have not used the 56 yet to instruct or order the credits from, say, Capital One. I have not used the 56 yet to order the Treasury to take the credits from Capital 51 and redeposit them, basically recycle them back onto my account, my Capital One account. I have not done that yet, but I'll probably do that on my next. We're working on our second box already, so.
Okay. I'm just assuming that you're talking about assigning a fiduciary on the Form 56 from the Treasury to take care of it for you. Okay. Okay.
Yep, given those orders, especially if you have the corporation in default. Nobody can come against that. Nobody, not a judge, not a cop, nobody can come against a summary default judgment because you have corporations in default. I don't think I've ever heard of one ever. And if they do, they're trespassing, making major trespasses, and I would report that. So, for example, just to give you an example, let's say I have Capital One in default. I don't know what for. Let's say I took out a car loan and I was telling them to validate the debt, and they can't validate it, right? Because they will never admit who and or what the source of the funds is. So I default them on that. They're not going to come through. If they put it on my credit report, even after I defaulted them, I think I would probably send the whole packet in to Treasury to liquidate the whole contract. But that's further advanced. Let's just stick to the basics. So the basics is being able to get results from your credit report because it's simple. It's simple. There's nothing to lose. And then if you can do it on your credit report, you can do it on your driver's license record. I proved that the driver's license record is nothing more than just a credit report. It's the same concept in commerce for all of it. Could be court cases, warrants, driver's license record. It could be any of that. Just do the simple default process. And like a lot of us have just been piling up these defaults and piling them up for years and years and years and years and years. Keep doing that. You are on the right track. Okay. Keep doing it.
Okay. Okay. Well, that pretty much covers all the notes that we took and prep for tonight's call. Did you have anything else specific that you wanted to go into or add to this? And we're only at about 25 minutes. So if you're willing to take a few questions, I think we can do that. I'm not sure how to do that yet with this call here because I don't know. Well, I would just say, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
My dad told me a story how he got a ticket back in the 80s and he gave the courthouse an IOU. So he was, and they never did anything. So this stuff goes back a long time.
Okay. If there's anybody, I'm looking at the call list right now. I'll leave up. I guess I can leave up the display, or don't really need this.
So you recommend pulling a credit report to start this, Hollywood?
For sure. Get your credit report. Yep. And then all the addresses on there, send every single one. The debt validation letter and wait for your responses back. Even if you don't get a response back, you don't care. You keep moving forward. You don't need their response. You don't.
Get all of them?
Sure. Watch them go bye-bye real quick.
Question. TransUnion, TRW, all types of credit reports.
I don't think she
understood. There was an echo.
Annualcreditreport.com. You can get all three there. Annualcreditreport.com.
If you can share that for rebuttal I just shared in the group, that's something you guys should add with your packets too. That's something the IT&J uses.
The rebuttal package?
No, the demand for rebuttal. You should be adding that with your default packet, your estoppel. It's the last thing I just shared in the group. I am.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I have a question, Hollywood. On your example for accepted for value on the statement, you had an employee identification number, an exempt number, a file number, and on the right-hand side, an account number. Could you explain what those numbers are? I'm not asking for your numbers, but could you go over that?
Yeah, so the employee number and the exempt number, the employee number is the social with dashes, just like on the W-4. The W-4 is asking for your social and there's dashes. So that's the employee-employer relationship. the W-4 shows the IRS the employee-employer relationship. Well, if the W-4 has dashes in the social, I'm going to do the same thing. So my employee identification number is the social with dashes. The exempt number I used way back in the day was the social without dashes. The file number is my UCC file number. And what was the last one?
Oh.
The exempt number.
The exempt number is the social without dashes.
Okay, I thought you said that the employer EIN was the social with no dashes.
The employee number has dashes.
Oh.
The
Okay.
exempt number has no dashes. And now today I would probably even incorporate the back of the social security number on it. The back of the card, you know, the H number. I would probably even incorporate that. I don't know what you would want to call it. Maybe Smoking Baby has an idea. I don't think I call it anything.
Isn't that mixing private with public, because the back of the number is private?
What about the account number on the right?
So the account number was probably the creditor, the alleged creditor's account number.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything?
I have a question. On the credit report, if you don't have anything open right now, can you still go back to the ones that were closed?
I would. It's your duty to report those credits of yours that those corporations borrowed, even if it's from the first year you ever started working, right?
Well, yeah, Smoking Baby said we can go back as far back as we want because we've always been creditor. But I wouldn't be sending them the default letter. I would just be doing a W-4 sandwich on them, correct?
Sure, I would. Yeah, I would report it all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's not one single error that you guys can make that you can't go back and correct. Literally, I feel that I've done it. I've made it mistakes, and I go back and correct them. We can make errors, and we can fix them. They can't. Okay.
I think what
Also,
I was getting at was if you have an old mortgage and no paperwork, no files, no records, but you know the name, like say an old American Express account or an old mortgage from 20 years ago, you know, it's like an old abandoned kid. You got to still claim it, but you don't. You make your own paperwork and assessment, is what I think she was saying.
on the demand for rebuttal.docx, if you read in the last paragraph, it has my name. You'll have to edit that to yours. And in the first paragraph, sentence 1, if you, the recipient, have read this entire affidavit, you can change affidavit to packet if you got a whole packet. If you got a whole packet to do, just change it.
And these packets are within this W4 files group, right?
Yes, he shared them just a little earlier today before the call.
Oh, okay. I jumped on at 8. All right, I'll take a look.
And also, there's a file section here. I was going to maybe bring that up too, but I'm going to go ahead and finish. Go ahead, Hollywood. Is there anything else? Anybody else have a question here for Hollywood?
I got one or a couple. I don't know if you covered it. I just jumped in to right now, so forgive me if I missed it. I'll just go back and watch it and let me know. On the 1040V, are we endorsing that on the back?
I do. I don't know if you have to, but I don't see why it would hurt to. I've heard both ways. Pretty much every single one I've sent. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I endorse mine, but I don't think you have to. And the reason why I don't think you have to is because there's not a signature on the front. But that's kind of why I like to endorse it, is because there's not a signature on the front. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'll send some without it and see what happens. Try it both ways.
And then on the if we have a few statements, whatever, let's say bank account, do we want to endorse those as well?
your bank statements. So you want to accept, endorse, and
Can
return
she?
them. Accept, endorse, and return. So accept the front, get
Okay,
those
so we
stamps.
all right. So we're endorsing both.
I would, I did, I do.
Okay.
And that goes for court records
Okay,
too.
and
All
then
your court
on
cases.
the stamp on them.
I stamped the front, accepted for
Cause
value.
I can't hear her. Okay,
Why?
cool. So then one more question. I seen the and then the 1040. I've seen it in the group, but nobody said anything on the video. So I in the group, and at least on the template, it didn't have any signature at all on the 1040 down below. So I didn't know if we were just supposed to leave it blank or what.
So on the instructions, page 107 or page 108, depending on what year's instructions you're looking at, it says that you send the IRS the statements, which we know that what the statements are from the credit card companies. And we also know now that the W-4 is a statement. So we send the IRS the statements, and this is as per the instructions, okay? It says you send us the statements, the IRS, and we'll file the 1040 for you. So I do not sign my 1040s.
All right, cool. Shit, that's good for me. I'm ready to go.
Right, because you're not signing anything under penalty of perjury. Right.
Right,
providing
right.
statements.
That's right.
Do you recommend a 1040 and signing that?
The echo is too loud.
Okay. All right. Stand by, everybody, please. Whoever talk last needs to mute. And then the next person coming on, Chris M or CM, speak, please.
I think
I
it
was
was me.
that was okay, my bad.
I was asking about the final 1040 and signing that. Is that required?
I don't send a signed 1040. If in the next year I don't receive, well, I can't say that I'm not going to receive anything because I already have started to get refunds. So I would not sign the 1040. I just wouldn't. It doesn't say anywhere in the instructions to sign it.
Well, I'm talking about a final 1040 that we spoke about in the W4 process about adding up all our assessments on one final 1040 and signing that.
Smoking Baby, you got him on this one?
I don't know if he's still on.
I don't sign my 1040s.
You did.
I know that I did talk to Smoking Baby a couple weeks ago about that comment, and he said that somebody else said to do that, not him.
Okay, question.
Okay, what if you did?
We'll have to ask him. Really, truly, I don't know. I don't sign mine, and I haven't signed a single one. And already since I sent the 20-pound box to Treasury at Thanksgiving, within like a week of the IRS receiving that, I order a lot of stuff off Wish every year, and I did like a W-4 and a 1040 for probably like, I don't know, let's just say $2,500. I don't know what it was, and so. So before the IRS could go in and even send Wish a bill, a tax bill, Wish already refunded like 4 pages of emails to my account. So I'm already getting returns. Also, my Wells Fargo account, I have had a $500 a day spending limit on my card and a $300 a day cash withdrawal from the ATM since like 2018. I've had those limits. Since I sent that box to the IRS, all those are gone. I don't have any limits anymore. And I did W-4 my entire bank account, all my deposits added to all my withdrawals. The whole thing. I did it. I accepted, endorsed, and returned every single page.
I couldn't get the bank to give me a full accounting. They're being assholes.
You don't have online banking?
So you can
And
use
I
these
have to
statements.
register it.
The statement is exactly what I used. That's
I think he's referring to an account that they possibly closed, and once they close the accounts, you don't have access to the online statements anymore, right? And so if you weren't downloading them, you don't have access to some of those older accounts.
That's where I'm at too.
I think it's okay too, you guys, to write a letter to the IRS stating that they're not complying with your request. Here, please go get it yourself, and the IRS will, I promise you.
Yeah, the bank is supposed to keep up to 7 years, I think, of your statements by law before they destroy it.
So are you stating that you W-4'd your current bank account that you're currently using right now and it's still open?
Currently, still open. And
Sure,
matter of fact, they increased my spending limit.
Let me ask this, Hollywood. For example, I have a no interest bearing account, sole proprietorship, no interest bearing account. Is there taxable determinations on that just because it's a transfer of credits between the treasury and the account? Or
yeah, all accounts. I mean, even if a carrier is opening an account in my name so I can go take a winter safe driving class and get a certificate, I'm reporting that account.
mm-hmm.
All accounts, even if they don't have financial transactions, because they're issuing certificates, they're issuing bill of ladings. These are all still money, even though it doesn't come across with a dollar sign in front of it. Maybe it has LBS at the end of the numbers. I'm actually taking my bill of ladings and inputting the numbers of weight because, I don't all, the bill of ladings don't have an amount on them. The rate confirmation sheet is, but those are two different corporations. So on the rate confirmation sheet, say the rate is 5,000 to move the load, that's a broker. So I'm W4ing the broker on the amount 5,000, but on the bill of lading, now I'm moving the load for Pepsi for $5,000, but on the bill of lading, the money's not there. The money's in the weight. It's 43,000 pounds. So I take 43,000 pounds and I put it on the W4 and put LBS after it. So I'm reporting all accounts, even if they don't have a dollar sign in front of them.
Okay, I just tried to mute somebody. I hope I didn't kick him out of the room. Jeez. Sorry I did. Layla or whatever the girl was talking last. Is she still there? Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, we're about 45 minutes into the call. How about one more question and then we'll just leave it at that, because I like to keep them about 45 minutes because it's the best way to get information to people quickly.
Got
one last question.
Court cases. Got a question about court cases?
Court cases, Odin, go ahead.
Yeah. If an individual went to prison on a court case matter, can he do the acquisition for the credits that were used during that period?
It's your duty to report.
Okay. So
and
just
pretend like it's your credit report and do the exact same thing.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, because it is your credit report on the public record.
It doesn't matter how old it is, though, right? This is okay.
No, it's your credit, even from the time you were born.
Thank you.
What's the proof of they're using your consumer credit?
Okay, one at a time now. Simply Marvelous, go ahead.
What's irrefutable proof that they're using your consumer credit?
We're not understanding you. Yeah, we're not understanding you. Speak clearly, please, or closer to the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Holly, how you doing?
Good.
Question is, what is the irrefutable proof that they are using your consumer credit?
The fact that you have to use your social for one, or the line of credit, the application. If they weren't using your credit, why would you be filling out an application?
May I?
Thank you.
I have paid for a broker to find QSIP numbers on 15 different accounts. These accounts include banking account, like bank account, checking accounts, savings accounts, some of which were closed by the banks in the past, credit card accounts, insurance accounts, utilities accounts. All of them had QSIPs for securities that were hypothecated in behalf of my Social Security account.
I just want to say that this is advanced banking. If you can connect with Smoking Baby later on, I think that he would be interested in going over this with you. I think it's too advanced for this right now. We're trying to keep it simple for people that want to build up their comfort zones and remove some fear and possibly get family on board. But it seems like you're probably past that. And I would love to join in on that call. If you were to reach out to Smoking Baby, I would definitely enjoy being part of that.
I mean, this was just to also chime in on the question of the gentleman, Just Simply Marvelous. He was asking irrefutable proof for the use of the credit, right?
QSIP
So
numbers. I see,
the QSIP number is, in my understanding and opinion, and in my investigation, is proving that they have accessed credit. As a matter of fact, they've issued securities in the name of our trusts and then sold them in Wall Street or in DTC or whatever broker or clearinghouse they used, and unjustly transferred our private credit to them, creating taxable transfers as the transferee, and are the tax debtors and malfeasant at that too. So
agree.
just some thoughts.
Yeah, it's definitely our credit, and the reason why we go ahead.
You could also say that they filed a 1099 OID because the transaction was over $10.
I'm still waiting on the Treasury. I'm still waiting on the Treasury to answer the question of, do I have to file a 1099 OID on every single bill lading? I haven't filed any OIDs yet. I haven't.
The actual financial institution had to file it because they're nominees for the beneficial owner, which is you, on
That's right.
every debt instrument.
That's right.
So if it's a debt instrument over $10, the financial institution is the nominee, and you're the beneficial owner, and they filed a 1099 OID, and it has an OMB number on it, so you can retrieve that from the IRS. They're going to use their headquarters address, wherever their county is. That's the address that they use, and you use your social to try to get the 1099 OID, and that's your evidence.
Yeah.
That's your evidence.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody received a 1099 OID from one of the utility companies or one of these companies that were using the consumer credit. I like that Holly's response when she mentioned that it's the application, because if we look at UCC 5-104, it says that our signature is what authenticates a letter of credit. So it could be used in any type of form. And along with our private credit, which will be the social, name, address, which is an account number. Because it's even in India, they do banking through mail. So the mailman can come and you can make a deposit or withdraw. In India, they have posts set up that way. So the balance also on coupons also. Somebody taking up traffic.
That's right. Now, not one single box of cereal or bag of rice or a pair of shoes gets on your shelves at your local store without a licensed and bonded contractor for the United States Postal Service and the United States Department of Transportation. Nothing gets to your shelves without a signature from that licensed and bonded agent of the Treasury. Basically, we're Treasury agents. Basically, I'm a Treasury agent. That's all I do all day long is deal in bills of lading and bills of exchange. And nothing gets to your store. This Coca-Cola cannot get to the shelves unless I sign the bill of lading. It's not going to happen. If I don't sign, I'm refusing it. I'm refusing the load.
Yeah. So there was a point to asking what is the proof, irrefutably, of them using the consumer credit. He said an application, right?
There's lots of proof.
Okay, well,
Just
we're going to
the
wind
fact
it
that
up.
Are they
All
ordering
right.
it too, aren't they?
All right, stand by for 1 second, please. We're going to wind it down right now here. Last question has been answered. So I want to go out of here pretty soon and give Hollywood the last few minutes to make comments, final comments. And then we can get together again at a later date. But I like to keep these calls to 45 minutes, and we're already at 50. So Hollywood, you got the floor for the last few minutes. Everybody else stay muted. You'll have the recording as soon as the call's over with, and we'll have all the files loaded up too. So anyway, Hollywood, finish it up.
I just want to see everybody have success and the fear go away and the comfort zone raise. You never want to do anything outside your comfort zone. I never tell people to do things that I would do if they're not comfortable doing it, right? So, stay within your comfort zone, and hopefully the goal is to see success that you can show your family members, because it's so important to this country that we start bringing us out of the national debt. And this is how you do it.
All right.
Thank you.
You guys are welcome. And Hollywood, thank you very much for being on with us tonight, and your brother too, sharing with us too, and the stuff that he dropped in the call earlier. I think it's A1 or 1A. He's on here. He dropped the documents earlier, so you guys can get them. And this call will be recorded and ready for available here as soon as I get off of here. So thank you very much again, Hollywood. Appreciate you. Okay. All right, guys. Until next time.
For now, thanks, Phil.